What's up, Junkies? Welcome back to another great episode of Culture Junkies Live. I'm your host, Kenshiro. Today's episode, we got to talk about this X-Men 97 Masterclass that is going on out there with regards to storytelling. It is the penultimate episode of the series. And we only got one more left, but man, they are really doing a great job with that. Also, I kind of want to talk about another thing that I want to talk about is hold on a second. We need to also talk about how DC animation has fallen off by the wayside as well. Talking about that, but I'm not gonna hold you. We got a lot of other stuff to talk about too, including Sony and Xbox doing their thing, messing up, and a bunch of other stuff. So Introduce is going to be on the show with me today. As always, the great Adakuji and GQ, but also rejoining us is Simon Says. Welcome back, sir. Good to see you.
Glad to be back. Glad to be back.
Say
Did
hello,
y'all miss me?
Hello. Hi, everybody. I'm sorry. Jazz hands.
The jazz hands. Gotcha.
His hands are Lego hands right now.
Yes, they are. 100 points to whoever can, name the game that is going on behind Dadakuji's left shoulder. By the way, it's kind of cheating though, because the title's about to pop up in a second. But GQ, you're off quiet, man. You ain't said nothing yet. What's up?
What? My words cost money.
Oh, there it is again. There it is again. For a long time, we ain't heard that in a while. But yeah, man. A lot of really cool stuff. I feel like I don't want to jump right into X-Men 97 because I kind of want to let the crowd, join us. Speaking of people in the crowd, obviously Wolverine Solid X is there. Josh Alder is there from Facebook. Don Shanahan is here. Good to see you guys. Marcus A64 is over on Twitch. So a lot of good things. But
King Takeem is in there too, man. Can't be.
Yes, he is.
Forgetting about people.
Yes, he is. But we're live on Facebook. We're live on Xbox. We're live on Kick, and we're live on YouTube as well.
King Takeem just subscribed for 37 months in a row. So that's over 3 years.
That is definitely worth a highlight. Thank you, sir,
so much.
Thank you, sir, for very much being subscribed. Did anybody highlight the message showing that he subscribed? No. He doesn't get a little extra love. There it is. 37 months.
Mrs. Amarat checking in.
Good to see you. Good to see everybody. So let's talk about something maybe a little bit light to get it out of the way. So I kind of said I wasn't going to say it, but I'll go ahead and say it. Seems how it's kind of light, and we can really quickly get it out of the way. So apparently Gina Carano, who used to be on The Mandalorian seasons 1 and 2, obviously, also from Deadpool, from the original Deadpool movie, the first one, is changing her tune now. So she's trying to say that she would gladly return to The Mandalorian and holds no ill will against Disney, despite obviously very publicly coming out against not only Disney but Kathleen Kennedy, and was suing them to basically forcibly be let back into her role. What do you guys make of this?
Please, Disney, please let me back. May I have some more, please? Disney, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have never said anything. I'm sorry, Disney.
That's kind of it. That's kind of it in a nutshell right there.
I mean, sometimes you find out the grass is not always greener on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's true. That is
not only
true.
that, there's a Mandalorian movie coming. I guarantee you she wants to get her movie career back on track. And being in a Star Wars movie would always be a good thing, regardless of what the fans say.
The mouse holds weight, and she wants that Disney check.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Royalties like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
For life.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. That's it in a nutshell. I don't know. It's just, it's funny how people twist themselves in the knots trying to say something like, oh well, Gina was right. Gina was this. Gina was that. She should gladly be able to say whatever she wants to say. It's free speech, bro. Listen, yeah, you can say whatever you want. You can have your opinion, but that don't mean people don't want to work with you.
That's 100% true.
You know, so it's like who knew back in the day when we were growing up that Scott Baio was such a piece of shit.
Yeah,
Nobody.
But he is. Who knew when we were growing up that Kevin Sorbo was kind of a piece of shit? Nobody.
They probably didn't develop that piece of shit stuff until who got into office, and that's the problem.
Well, no, Kevin Sorbo was kind of like that a little bit before he even got in office. He kind of started showing his true colors years ago, and that's when people really started, stop messing with him.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's all I gotta say about that. With regards to that, so let's talk about X-Men 97. I can't wait no more.
I
can't wait no more.
Candy, you need a Kleenex?
Yo, man.
My pad.
Kleenex or two?
No, man. No, I'm good. Because man, look, yeah, I'm sure. I might not need it. Wolverine Solid X in the chat, he might need it though. After what happened,
he called it.
He knew that shit was coming, dude.
Honestly, I have to publicly give him an apology and give him his props because I 100% did not believe they were going this route. 100%. And my man, like you said, he called it weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well,
props to you, my friend. Props to you. Go ahead, man.
I have to say this though, because they've been watching it so far. Looks like they've been going like hitting like home runs. They did. Was it the trial of Magneto? Mm-hmm. They did the Genosha massacre. Mm-hmm. Literally did Madeline Pryor saga, the Goblin Queen, and they threw in Cable. So I guess now they're doing Bastion storyline, and then they're top of it off. They're doing Fatal Attraction. So I guess
and they did
now,
Executioner song.
Yeah, yeah, that too. And I guess now they have to do the whole Age of Apocalypse or Onslaught saga now. Because I mean, it's like they're going. It's like to me, it feels like they're just going like. I mean, well, no, I don't know if they're gonna do that. It's like they're talking. Fallen was talking about Claremont's greatest hits. Now, if they do the purifiers, then they probably might as well do it.
They might as well, exactly. Because look, it's not like we didn't see William Stryker on the TV last week. Was it last week? I think we saw him on TV, right?
I think it was on there.
Yeah, it was last week.
Yeah, it's last week. So they might as well go ahead and do the purifiers. If he was already on TV, and this thing happens with Magneto basically shutting off the world's power, and all these people are angry, all these thousands are dead, literally. It's hard for you to believe that they won't go that route, right? Hard for you to believe they won't go that route.
That's the one thing I love about Magneto. He shows so much restraint at all times. Given how powerful he is. Like that dude, he could have split the world in half with no problem on a whim. My man showed up, spoiler, with a new asteroid M. just casually did it. Like
yes.
Like Magneto is in. He's got to be beyond Omega level. There's got to be another level for him because he's ridiculous.
I mean, what they're doing with him now in the extinction or Fall of X right now. He died and now he's back. Spoiler alert to everybody, but if you haven't read it, it's too bad. But dude, I don't care. Hey, but I'm as GQ said, dude is unbelievable. Yeah. Even in the comic books now, the comic books are just like saying, "Oh yeah, we're gonna show you how powerful this dude really is," and damn it, they are showing it.
Yeah, 100%. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is awesome. So, I mean, obviously, we're trying very hard not to give a lot of spoilers, but it's so freaking hard because there's so many really good things that happen in this episode.
He said what? He said
Fatal Attractions. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, Fatal Attractions, right there.
He said, "Are you expecting black leather?"
That was funny.
Yeah,
I like
that was a great line. That was a great line.
This right here, that's all you need to know. Like that, dude. That
hold that up. Hold it up for people to see again. Hold it up.
They did a great job adapting this. It's probably a little bit of glare. That's
a little bit. It's a little bit better.
But they did a great job working and pulling out, pun intended, all the cool beats of the various stories that they've been doing. And I'm very much looking forward to what the season finale is going to be. I hope it's an hour long.
Me too. Me too.
I would love to have that. I love the fact that they went there and they did it in a way that was very much a real nod to what happened in the book. And it just, you were like, wow, they're going to do it. Because at first it looked like, oh, they're going to get close, but he's just going to pass out or something. It's like, no, it's over. I was like,
now,
so.
I'll say this: it happened a lot faster than I thought it would. I thought he would drag it out a little bit more.
I think they might touch on that in the next episode.
Okay.
Because all we saw is it start, and then they cut, basically.
Yes.
Yes. My brother's in the chat for the first time that I've ever seen. We're talking about X-Men. You probably haven't watched it because you've been on a boat for like forever.
Yep, we're not doing any spoilers, so don't worry about that.
Yeah, well, they did one other thing that they did do. One thing that we've been asking them to do, and they kind of teased last episode. Wolverine got blood on his claws.
Oh yeah.
Oh, big time. Yeah.
Wolverine got blood on his claws. And
I'm still waiting for that Sabretooth Wolverine fight, man. Come on now. I need to get.
I
need to get that crap.
Yes.
We haven't even seen Sabretooth. I wonder if they're gonna even like.
No, they showed him. Morph turned into him at the beginning. One of the early episodes.
No,
shout out to
Wolverine.
Actually,
shout out to Morph, who's been like the unsung hero / all-star, literally turning into a bunch of different characters.
King Cameo
himself. Man turned into the Hulk. That was awesome, brother.
Really?
That was awesome.
You're supposed to spoil stuff, man.
I mean, hell, we spoiled. He turned into Juggernaut. I didn't expect him to turn into Juggernaut like he did. What was that, last week? That shit just came. Okay, first of all, I wasn't under the impression that when Morph changed into somebody else that he got their powers too. But that seemingly is what is happening here. Which makes him pretty OP if you think about it, right?
That's kind of like copycat.
Yeah, because not only is he morphing into somebody else, he's literally mimicking them at the same time. Because it's like, okay, can he morph into Jean and use her telepathic powers? Could he morph into Wolverine and use his healing factor? Well, he wouldn't need the healing factor because of the way his powers work. He wouldn't need to do that anyway.
I think what we're getting with that, because remember, in the original show, it was all about copying and the look. He didn't get any of their powers. I think what they're changing basically is almost saying that Sinister upgraded him when he brought him back to life.
That could have been.
Because the original character was just a look-alike, very similar to how Mystique, when she changes, we saw it in the X-Men movie. She pulled out claws and Wolverine still cut them off because they're not adamantium.
But the thing that you are, even though you've given all that explanation about him, as was said in this episode, he was only on the team for 30 minutes before he got,
Why did Rogue have to go so hard? Why did she have to go so hard at everybody?
That was funny.
You didn't really get to see his powers because of that. So, like, it's it's kind of cool that they give him that stuff, but that would make him more powerful than anybody.
Rogue went and aired everybody out in this episode. What was that? Aired them out. I know homegirl is grieving, still mourning the loss of her man, but damn. She didn't have to do her
Mhm.
family like that. She was like, F y'all. F all y'all.
Yep,
She's
Iguana
like,
Man is saying, I think Morph gains physical characteristics, not any powers.
but still, okay, even if he gains physical characteristics, that doesn't necessarily put him in that upper level of strength, because a lot of those characters that he's morphing into, they're enhanced far beyond what he is at his base level, you know?
Well, I think bringing it back to Dido's point about we didn't get to see a lot of him. If you look at the people that he's turning into people that are very muscular. So if he's
Yes.
just basically gaining their musculature, that's
Mhm.
automatically going to augment his base level strength because he's copying muscle and tone and all the other stuff that comes with having bigger muscle. Like you said, turned into Juggernaut and various other characters. We have not seen him able to copy, for example, Cyclops' optic blast or Storm's ability to control the weather. He can fly if he copies somebody that has wings, stuff like that. So I don't know.
Yeah, and if you think about it, I don't think he can copy Juggernaut's magical properties. If you think about it,
Right. He's just a big dude. And, it would be very hard to stop a linebacker trying, basically running you over, regardless of if he has the magical properties or not. You're probably going to get bowled over. He's not unstoppable when he copies him, though.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just feel like I just feel like some of the feats that Morph is doing seem a little bit off kilter. I would have to read up more on Morph and what his power set is just to really be able to be able to say it. Takeem saying Morph, aka Changeling, was originally just a shapeshifter. AOA Exiles Morph changed it to be he has total control of his mass, muscles, density, and all physical traits. So okay, if he controls his muscles and the density, that can 100% help him with the strength level. So okay, I'll give you that. All right, cool. But guys, in 9 episodes, 9 episodes at 30 minutes apiece, can we talk about how much of a masterclass in storytelling this entire production has been? They're managing to do so much in 30 minutes that you rarely ever see any other animated show able to do. Like some of the high class ones, like we're talking Batman the Animated Series, we're talking maybe even Justice League in some levels. This is the type of level of writing that those shows were doing. And this to Chris, we don't have anything necessarily. Well, if you come over to Twitch, you can give us a tip.
Yeah, Twitch.
Nothing.
Not on Facebook.
Yeah, not on Facebook. We don't have anything necessarily to donate. Although I think we still are eligible to get stars on Facebook. So if you want to do stars, you have to go to our Facebook fan page in order to donate to the channel. Doing that, but we appreciate the sentiment 100%. Thank you very much. But yeah, guys, speak to the kind of the storytelling, masterclass that these guys are putting on in 9 episodes. That we've seen, and compared to like other things that we've had that have been in similar situation.
You guys are the comic book. You guys are the comic book experts, so you know what storylines are being told. But you kind of went over them, and in the comics, it took months, maybe years, to do things, and they're taking out specific things, cutting it down. I don't like saying trimming the fat because fat tastes delicious. I loved it. Oh, I love it.
Think of it like distilling. Like there's distilling it to its essence.
Yeah,
right.
And they're putting what is needed to be in the right spots to give you like the best gosh darn cartoon I've seen. And he said, "What the hell is Twitch, bruh? Wow." Wow.
He said,
like,
"What the hell is Twitch?"
He sound like a young boomer. He's a millennial boomer.
Wow.
Anyway,
wow.
Twitch is a website where you can stream and watch people play things. You can watch them play video games, talk like this, among other stuff, regardless of that. Anyway, but yeah, they're putting it all like it's like a 12-course meal, and everything is being brought out to you at the right 10-course because it's 10 episodes, right time, right flavor, right temperature. Everything is amazing. I'm just messing with you, Chris, but still, you didn't know what
right.
No, you're 100% right. They are basically doing, now granted, Batman the Animated Series and even Justice League to a degree, are episodic shows, so they don't necessarily have a overarching narrative that's being told. So it's a different type of storytelling. But as far as going in and basically just having a nice throughput of here's what's going on and here's what's happening, and tying together a lot of various stories that took place over well over a decade of comic book time, if not more, in some instances. He's done a great job. You know, the showrunner, who may or may not make his way back to Disney, did a great job taking the best of Claremont and a couple of other writers and putting their stuff on screen and making it really fun to watch. So that's something that not a lot of people these days are able to do.
Yeah. And you obviously you have this inherent fear. Now, I think Bo DeMeo was let go after completing the first 2 seasons of X-Men 97. You do fear that whoever his predecessor is, or his ancestor, his predecessor is going to be, or his successor, excuse me, not his predecessor, his successor. Whoever his successor is may not be quite as successful at doing, the story or managing the story as well as he was able to do. That's my fear.
He's got 2 seasons in the can, or at least written. By the time season 2 comes out, especially with this high success that they've had, he might find a way back. James Gunn did. So who knows?
That's true.
And speaking to, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, no, speaking of to what GQ said, if you think about how Justice League did that whole scenario with Lex Luthor and Brainiac, how that went from Superman, the animated series, all the way to the Justice League, that one where he got blasted by him. That was good storytelling. This is pretty cool as well, because like I said, they're doing comic book arts, but it's like they're skipping the meat and just going straight to the whole, like, or I should say, skipping the meal and going straight to the dessert, and going full on like, okay, so we're gonna do Trial of Magneto, Mutant Massacre, or Genosha Massacre. Then we're doing this and all that stuff. It's like, man, it's like it looks like they're going there. They might even hit, like I said, I mean, I'd be surprised, but it'd be cool if they hit like either Age of Apocalypse or they hit Onslaught. That'd be cool, but we have to see if they'll actually bring in any more extra characters if they do Onslaught, because that was more of an entire like
Marvel Universe type,
Universe thing.
Yeah, that was a Marvel Universe.
Like I said, with Age of Apocalypse, that's more like a mutant. Yeah.
And 100%, Iguana's right. The late great Dwayne McDuffie, Detroit born and raised, is someone that I would absolutely love to have seen get his hands on something like this, right? Even though he was known for DC, I'm sure he knows a lot of the Marvel characters as well. Marcus A64, they think they might fast track season 2 to drop at the end of this year, which I don't know if they'll do that, especially after what came out about the MCU slates moving forward, where they're going to limit it to, I think they said 3 movies and 2 shows for the MCU per year, according to Bob Iger. Something like that.
I think if I wouldn't put it out at the end of the year.
I wouldn't either.
I would just let it sit and move to the next year. If it's, if you got something coming up with the X-Men or whatever, which probably be 2026 at the earliest, I wouldn't rush just to get it out just because it's popular. It's like, make people want it. They already love it. Make them want it.
So a lot of things, like Simon said, has been teased. There's a lot of ways that they can go with this. If you read the comic books after Fatal Attraction, you know exactly, what's going to happen with Wolverine. You know what's going to happen with Gambit. And what's going to be happening with even Cyclops. Now that you see what happens with, kind of like his anger at Charles Xavier, his disillusionment with Charles Xavier, and all this other kind of stuff. You know where a lot of this is leading. And who more likely might be making an appearance sooner rather than later. Onslaught, like you said, Simon says, might be a little bit hard to do because of the amount of other characters that they would need to bring in. Fantastic Four, the Avengers, that type of thing.
Didn't we see Vulcan at one point?
We did, and that's another seed that they're bringing for later. So they did. So I think Wanaman was saying that I believe they're hitting comic beats early because they have original stories they want to tell. I don't think they need to do that. I think they can literally just stay on the comic book path
that they're on
and be just fine, right? They can literally just adapt what's already come before, like Fallen Marvel has said very astutely, the Claremont's greatest hits, and literally just run with that until they run out of Claremont stories.
Mm-hmm.
They could, but I think the better thing to do would be to run through those and work through those, because technically they're treating this as if this is all taking place in the year 1997. So in order for them to catch up to the current MCU, they're going to have to start doing some original stories of their own. I
guess. I mean, and we all know how comic book timelines are always very funny. Events that happen, very funny. So you never really know exactly. You can't keep track. I mean, it seemed like for like 30 years, Peter Parker was a college student for forever, seemingly, and then
well, I mean,
then he get married. Go ahead.
I mean, even look in the Fox verse. You have X-Men First Class, Emma Frost, as a grown woman working with Sebastian Shaw. Then you move forward to X-Men Origins Wolverine. She's a teenager, even though that movie's supposed to technically take place after. So,
yeah,
timelines are never going to be perfect, but they are really, shooting as hard as they can to let you know this takes place in the 90s. So, moving forward, we'll see what happens.
Yep, we will. Also, side note, got to love the throwbacks to the classic X-Men, uniforms. Literally, it looked like it was all playing out in the action scenes, with the exception of, obviously Beast being there, and we were missing Dazzler and Colossus. It was like you were playing the 6-player X-Men, fighting game. It looked like literally watching that being animated.
Yeah. I really want more characters, though. I'd be honest with you. Definitely want more characters. Maybe
more characters
in the cartoon and animated.
Okay.
You probably
like the roster. You loved, and GQ, I know you loved this part too, because when we got big in the comics, big in the comics, was when Jim Lee and Claremont came, relaunched X-Men, and it came out with the gold and the blue teams, and them talking about that in this episode. Great stuff. Like, grow that roster of X-Men and give us all of that good stuff. I'm just saying.
I believe it's all coming. I'm saying all that stuff is coming right now. If you look at it in this aspect, because you're saying you got years of stories to tell, which is 100% true. This first season is wrapping up the stuff from our childhood, because it kind of ended on a cliffhanger. So this is wrapping that stuff up. So two things can happen. They can still adapt more stories, which they probably will, because if you look at the one from our childhood, it had even less. It was more original and less stuff from the comic books, from my understanding. It was more sprinkles here and there than it was in, like, damn near a downpour, like kind of how it is now. Even though it's heavily truncated, it's still getting a lot of stuff. Can't think of another word. You get a lot of stuff. So they may do a little bit of both moving forward. Because if they just do all the comic books, how fast will they, with 2 seasons, will they go through all the freaking storylines?
I mean, there's a lot of storylines. It's hard for you to imagine.
But are there a lot of good storylines?
No, some are better than others. Yeah. Obviously, some are better than others. They could literally choose not to adapt certain storylines and they'd be fine. Like, they skipped over the whole Executioner song with Strife and stuff like that. They haven't even touched on that, even though the techno-organic virus has been introduced, but the legacy virus has not been introduced, and that's kind of where Strife and all that other kind of stuff.
They did that in the
Did they do that?
Yeah, they did.
Did they do the? Okay, they did a
Yeah,
version
they
of
did.
the. You're right. They did do a version of the Legacy virus. That's right. In the original series, I forgot about that. So even though they adapted some in the original series, there's not a lot of really good storylines I feel left for them to adapt. They're gonna have to move into more modern. We're talking like mid to late 90s, early 2000s storylines, where Scott becomes more of a militant, Malcolm X type.
Oh, really?
Malcolm X, yeah, dude.
Oh
So,
yeah,
like a lot of
Cyclops got
people.
an arc.
Yes, bro. Like, okay, a lot of people hate Cyclops because they see him as like, they always hate on the goody two shoes type.
Yeah, like him and Superman. Who remember Good Boy Scout?
Yeah, the good Boy Scout, the the upstanding, like they hated on Superman, Captain America, Cyclops, right? For all those same things. Cyclops became like a militant Malcolm X, close to Magneto, but not quite as extreme as Magneto. At his worst, he was about as bad as Magneto. He was literally like, fuck all you humans. I'm for mutants first. Like, fuck all you dudes. Like, literally, he stood toe to toe, and Captain America said, "Get the fuck off my lawn, bro."
Wow.
Like, dude, he was like that.
Yeah, Cyclops goes through quite a change later on in the comics. So
yes, he does.
It's going to be interesting to see where they go.
It is,
especially if they potentially touch on the Marvel versus Capcom villain that we all know was potentially there. So I don't know. Iguana Man had brought up that there's definitely more characters. I like that they are willing to, we have our base squad, but they are constantly bringing in other characters and having them fight with the team, just like it was in the books. So, I mean, that's the one aspect that I'm sure that will continue. And who knows, maybe by season 3, we're having like a Justice League Unlimited type thing where they have dozens upon dozens of characters to pull from, and they're just bringing them in as needed, when needed, and stuff like that. So who knows?
Here's a potentially missed opportunity, because at this point in the storyline with the X-Men, she was already kind of a very prominent figure. But Kitty Pryde is nowhere to be found. And you figure that, like, if they were to bring in Colossus and they could do the whole Kitty and Colossus, romance, type thing that they had, the on and off type thing that they had, which was also good. Psylocke, obviously could join as well. Like maybe Excalibur is a thing and we just don't know about it, and they just bring back Iceman. Yes, bring back Iceman. 100%. Bring back Iceman. Bring Archangel into the fold. Bring Archangel into the fold like he was, for a while.
Yeah, they the originals.
Yeah. So
well, I mean, they always refer to that picture that has burned up or been destroyed like at least 4 times so far. Like how many copies of that damn picture did Xavier have?
Right. Exactly.
But, so we'll see. There's a lot of possibility.
Yep. All right, guys. I feel like we talked about X-Men a lot. We almost burned half the show talking about it, but it was worth it. It was 100% worth it. It was a really great show. Can't wait to next week. I can't believe next week is the last episode of the first season. Damn. But
now we gotta wait 2 years until the next one comes out.
Well, I don't think we have to wait 2 years.
Dude, I want TV shows to go back to summer break, back in the fall. Because if they can do it for network TV, they can do it for streaming TV.
It's a little bit harder for animation, though, man. This is
bullshit.
Little harder for animation, man.
Remember back when we were kids? We didn't wait 2 years for stuff to come out. This shit seemed like it was always.
It's because they animated going towards syndication. They don't do that anymore. Those days are over.
They ran many a rerun to keep us busy.
They did. Those days are over, man. Sorry to say.
These motherfuckers should be right now animated season 3.
I agree.
They could be.
I mean, I agree. Who knows? Maybe they have.
I agree.
There could be all sorts of possibility.
So let's pivot. We talked about really great animation and great storytelling. Let's pivot to something that I feel is surprisingly really bad storytelling and really bad animation. And I'm specifically talking about, and you guys don't shoot the messenger here, but DC animation has fallen off. And it is fallen off. It is fallen off. And I'm saying fallen off hard. The Tomorrowverse line of animated films have been, for the most part, a net negative. I think if I was to compile all the scores, the critic scores of the individual Tomorrowverse films, they would probably be around 40% negative, like on average. That's how bad they've been. Like, we're talking, and they've had only like 5 films. And no, I'm not counting Batman The Long Halloween Part 1 and Part 2, because those were adaptations more or less of a graphic
Story.
novel. They were
Yeah.
standalone. They weren't part of the universe. Even though they were released in the same time frame as Tomorrowverse, they're not counted as part of the actual universe. But when you look at the most recent release, Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 2, narratively, this thing was a complete mess. You couldn't tell what the hell was going on, what motivations were certain characters were. It's just been bad, and all you can barely ever. It is really hard for you to find any positive reviews of their most recent films. We're talking Justice League War World was a miss. Part 1 of Crisis was a miss. Part 2 of Crisis is a miss. Some people say Superman Man of Tomorrow really wasn't good. The only one I think a lot of people universally say was good in the Tomorrowverse was Justice Society World War II, when the
like
Flash
that
went back in time. That was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
But that seems to be the only one. And we're used to DC meaning hit after hit after hit. GQ, what do you make of this?
Well, Fallen Marvel brought up my main point where I saw it start to fall off was Batman Bad Blood. That's when they started to show that their storytelling wasn't as tight. The movies themselves weren't really hitting hard. Like, to date, one of the best ones is still Red Hood. Red Hood is almost DC's Captain America Winter Soldier of animation. And you're looking at movies like Injustice.
Oh,
It's like,
God,
dude,
that
it's
was
like
bad.
like the
Oh,
story,
God, that
the
was
story they
bad.
tried to tell. There was
watered it
5
down.
years of comic books of that
Yeah.
story, and you trying to wrap
game.
all of that up in a really quick, less than 2-hour movie. It's like, dude, you needed the X-Men showrunner to be able to do that for you. They did a horrible job telling that story. Most of the other ones moving forward, all just kind of lackluster. It used to be hit after hit after hit. Every single DC animated movie came out, you were anticipating it, waiting for it. Like, oh, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. Nah, like a lot of the stuff that's come recently is just the storytelling was off, or the story that they were telling was just not impressive to begin with. So there's a lot that has really gone into a lot of companies, unfortunately, falling off. And it's unfortunate for DC that their animation was not doing so hot. And at the time, their movies weren't doing so hot. So it was just like, it's a double whammy.
Well, I got a question. Now, mind you,
Go ahead.
all the ones that are bad, I have not watched. Mainly because people are like, oh, you don't want to watch this bad. You don't want to watch this bad. No. Are they really that bad? Or are you guys' expectations not being met in the same manner of, well, we got all this stuff and we didn't know where this was coming from. Oh my gosh, this is great, 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 great. And they haven't really changed that, what do you call it? That formula. They keep it to the same formula. And you're just like, this is the, like, I've seen this before. I've seen this before. I've seen this before.
I've seen,
and thus,
and that's a really good question. That's a really good question.
I'll put it to you this way. You like Golden Bowl. You know what Golden Bowl is like. You know there's sweet and sour chicken and all the various things that you like. You know what it tastes like. Imagine if Golden Bowl took your favorite dish and was like, you know what? Just for the hell of it, let's put a bunch of nutmeg and thyme and some just other stuff in it, and then serve it to him and be like, hey.
Look at his face. He's like, what? What are you talking about?
My third eye tongue can taste that shit. It sounds gross.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
They took what you already love and just completely messed up the formula. Just because, for whatever reason, they just messed up the formula. Like, yeah, our sweet and sour chicken wasn't, everybody liked it, but let's switch it up.
Yeah,
why?
Because I saw pretty much all of them except for Warworld and the new ones that just came out.
The Crisis. Yeah.
Yeah, the Crisis. I haven't seen those yet. But the weird one was like when I got to the I guess Supergirl one, and I was like, what's going on here? Because like
that one actually wasn't that bad.
Well,
that
no,
one wasn't that bad.
My problem is like when I saw it, it's like basically she's already there. It's like, okay, where's the story of how she got there? What's going on? It's like, damn, they just like, oh yeah, she's here and now she's going into the future. So,
right.
That kind of like,
yeah. Now that aspect of it, I will grant you, like they introduced her in that film and then immediately shipped her off, like just immediately. Right.
And then another thing that didn't make sense was the whole the Green Lantern one was with John Stewart.
That one also I thought was decent, but like I think Fallen actually is in the chat and he said the same thing. He said many of them were just more lackluster than truly bad, but there were a few where the payoff just completely sucked. And I think Green Lantern, like you were getting ready to say, Green Lantern was kind of like that, whereas like the payoff really sucked. It was like, okay, it's like at the end of that one, and I think maybe you're going to talk about this. I liked their treatment of John Stewart. I liked his relationship with Shira in the film.
They can't not have them like together.
I know, right? I know, right? I know, right?
Yeah, no. Mine was like, okay, to me, it kind of got to the whole Emerald Knight where Hal Jordan went nuts and then became paralyzed.
Yes,
but they didn't do it the right way. They just went to the whole, because like if they would have did like the whole like Emerald Knight, that would have been cool if he just went on a rampage and killed everybody. But they just said, okay, we're gonna do this, and then he's paralyzed and all. It's like no, they could have. That's one thing. That's the one thing that I hated when they got rid of Jeff Johns. They could have the man wrote the whole entire arc from when he came back to the Third Army, and that was like the best storyline that intertwined all together. But I don't know, man. And then like I don't even want to. Well, like you said, the Batman one was. I like that one. That's cool. I mean, it's like a standalone. It wasn't like a whole story.
These are standalones, and they don't really count as far as the in universe. But the ones we're talking about, right? Justice Society, Superman, cool. Justice Society, the Green Lantern one, Justice League War World, and both of the Crisis films so far have been more missed than they've been hit, right? And Iguanaman has brought up how the animation hasn't been very good, like the animation style. Like
no, animation styles.
Some people really aren't feeling that either. So the Legion of Superheroes also one was, which I personally kind of I did enjoy for the most part. But even then, it was kind of like, what are you doing? Like, what's going on here? You can't really. There's a lot of hopping around. There's no real universe building. I guess maybe that's the problem.
Yeah,
they're relying. Yeah, they're relying a little bit too much on people having prior knowledge of the characters instead of really building awareness and building a relationship.
Look, listen.
Go ahead.
You just said something really profound to me, because on one hand, people complain that they keep telling the same stories over and over again, and when they do stuff live actions, because they've seen the stories over and over again. And then on this one, you're saying like, well, they're not doing that because we expect that they already know all this stuff. And I'm just like, are we ever gonna, like, which one will it be? Because like, I get not wanting to see Superman's origin over and over and over.
Yeah,
again.
I get that.
Spider-Man's origin over and over again. And then like, I'm assuming, just with what you said, that on the DC side, they're like, you know what? We don't need to do that. Apparently, the people watching this already know what's going on. They should know.
I mean, you aren't wrong. You aren't wrong, because, like, I mean, like you said, with Kara showing up, I mean, technically, you should already know her origin. I mean,
people are watching it for the most part would.
Yeah.
But then here's the other thing too. So in Crisis Part 2, the origin that you supposedly are assuming that you know is subverted in the Crisis. it doesn't happen the way you think it's supposed to happen. In Crisis Part 2, her origin gets kind of messed up, and you guys have to watch it in order for you to make sense. But I leave it at this.
Isn't Crisis on Infinite Earth supposed to be another adaptation? Or is this supposed to be a canon
technically
this is supposed to be the canon breaking project to basically destroy what exists, so that when it comes back, when the next animation project is going to be them, where it's going to be all tied in, where the DCU, the live action, and the animation are tied together.
All right, time out. Two things.
Yeah.
First off, to answer Hans' question, Sonic and Mario did not remake the games. Sonic, nothing like the games. Mario, a little bit, but mainly after the cartoon. And number two, how are we deriding Marvel? I like to understand that, because we have always said, if you have been here, well, it's not necessarily trolling, because I want to understand why he's saying what he's saying, because he's been with us for quite some time. And we've talked really good about DC animation for a very long time. We said DC animation was really good. So if they're starting to drop the ball, nobody's riding Marvel. Marvel right now has 2 good animated series. 2. And their movies, according to everybody else, have been falling off. I personally have been entertained by them, but the rest of the world,
the quality isn't as good.
Yeah, they're saying the quality isn't that good. So we're not riding Marvel. I'm riding Legos.
I look at it this way when it comes to the whole situation with DC's animation. They are running into the same problem that their comics ran into. They kept rebooting everything too quickly. We had the regular golden age and everything that we lived through and everything that we grew up reading and rereading and all this. Then they did the New 52. It was like, okay, cool. That's cool. Reboot them, get some fresh coat of paint to all these characters that have been around for decades and years and all that. Cool. And then the animation started to reflect the New 52 in that universe. Perfect. Then all of a sudden we hit Flashpoint, and it's just like, well, New 52 is over in the books, so we got to kill it in animation. It's just like, okay, I liked New 52 and what you were doing and the stories you were telling, and they had the overall stories that were going and the narratives and all that. Then they kill it, and now like you said, we got Tomorrowverse, which unfortunately is not as good as the previous stuff that they've had, and I don't like the whole idea of like, okay, we got to throw the baby out with the bathwater. It's like, if you're going to keep rebooting and changing and constantly breaking up what's actually been fun and a good narrative, you're going to lose people, because they definitely lost me. I used to watch every single one as they dropped. I haven't seen the last, I think, 4 projects that they put out.
Well, look,
and that's telling.
I haven't seen not a one since, like, I can't remember the last one I watched.
Remember how excited we all used to be as a collective for like these DC movies getting ready to come out? Like, oh, did you see this trailer for Injustice? Oh, did you see this trailer for Justice League Dark? It's going to be awesome. Gotta watch it. Like, we got to get together and watch it together, right? That was usually like appointment viewing, and it's just not that way.
What you saying, Dido?
No, I was saying, I think the last one that I watched was what's that one? It felt like it was in the 70s, and Bronze Tiger was in it, and it was getting his ass. Bruce Wayne.
Oh, Batman, Son of the Dragon. Yes,
I think that's the last one that I watched.
No, because like, if you really think about it, and G, you are not dead wrong, because let's face it, New 52 actually made Aquaman cool. Can we all say that shit?
That was actually the first Aquaman anything I'd ever bought. Right.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest with you. Me and Waffles been riding Aquaman for a while. So, but
I mean, there's no shame in that.
But the New 52 made him cooler than he's ever been. And then, but like I said, what was it, the Justice League Doom, or not Doom, but Dark Side War or something like that.
Justice League War.
No. I'm talking about the one how they rebooted it. In the cartoon, they rebooted from that one where I guess like the end of the world and all that. And
you're talking about Apocalypse War.
Yeah, Apocalypse War.
Yeah.
So it's like the same. It's like basically they rebooted it in the cart. It's like when I saw that, I was like, oh god, they rebooting it. Oh, They're rebooting
Yeah.
it. And like I said, I guess they're doing the whole end of the multiverse and then rebooting it with this one now. I don't know if they're going to do a reboot, but I mean that's how they did it with Infinite Crisis. They basically pretty much did away with the multiverse and then left it for God knows how long. And then of course they're going to probably do, what was it, not Infinite Crisis, but what was this? I think it was not Infinite Earths. I can't remember the second one because they did so many of them. That was basically the one.
They did
Now they do.
Final
Now
Crisis.
they do this. Now they do this one where Superboy goes off. I am down with that one.
Now,
I'm
see,
so down.
they can't do that. It's going to be hard for them to do that because they haven't built up towards it, right? It would just literally just be coming out of left field, and people will still be like, "Well, what the hell is this?" Like,
oh no, I don't say do it right now. I'm saying like
Mhm.
build up to it, and then
They're not going to do that. I
They
would love
don't
to see that.
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, they're not going to do that. Yeah, I would love it too. I would 100% love it too because I thought that whole arc was fantastic. That whole thing that was great. Superboy Prime. Superboy Prime is one of the best villains that they've ever had. That he's one of the best villains they've ever had. He is great because he is that unhinged, psychopathic teenage Superboy that has all the powers of Superman, but none of the remorse and none of the morals. None of the morals.
None of the weaknesses either.
Yeah. Okay. You guys liked what was that movie that James Gunn was producing?
You're talking about
Irredeemable?
not Irredeemable.
Not Irredeemable. That movie that they did, Brightburn.
Oh,
yeah.
Superboy Prime is like that. Superboy Prime is like that. He's
hopefully
like that.
better than Brightburn.
Oh yeah, it's much better than Brightburn. Much better than Brightburn. But yeah, it's something else. But anyway, we lament that while Marvel seemingly is on top of animation, DC is kind of falling on its face with its animation and writing and stuff like that. But let's pivot a little bit to and we got a couple other things I kind of want to get to. So if we go over a little bit, I hope you guys can bear with us a little bit.
No, Marty Gaming, that would be Ultraman that sniffs.
Oh yeah, him snorting snorting kryptonite basically. That way he was doing. Yeah, he was snorting kryptonite in order to basically get high. Like he would do lines of K. It's crazy. Anyway.
I mean,
that's how he
Superman's high is basically red kryptonite. It's just it removes his inhibitions.
True. That's true. Anyway. So what I wanted to pivot to, we talked a lot about comic books. Let's pivot a little bit before we come back to it. What's going on with video games? Like, specifically, I'm talking about Sony and Helldivers 2. Like, how do you ruin what has been the most well-received live service game we've seen since Destiny first launched?
Mm-hmm.
How do you ruin that in the span of 3 days by saying, oh, well, we're going to, after months of you being able to play without it, now we're going to require you to have these PSN accounts in order for you to play the game. A lot of people literally, and rightfully so, raised a lot of ire about that one.
Pure unadulterated greed.
Yes, man. It's like, okay, Sony has reversed their decision, but not before doing great damage to the Helldivers playing community, but also just them in general, Sony in general, and how people view them. Windex121, I did see you over on Facebook, and highlighted your message, so we definitely appreciate you checking in. It's good to see you. Good to see you in the chat. But Dido, when you heard that they were doing this, I know you don't play Helldivers, but would it bother you if Nintendo started doing something like that? And I know maybe Nintendo is a bad analogy because Nintendo doesn't do online co-op like that. But if they were to require you to do it and you were playing on another system, would it make you want to not play the game or not want to mess with them at all anymore? Or would you just see it as
if they didn't do it from the get-go, it would kind of be a little like jarring, most definitely. But it's not like it's uncommon, but it's just that most of them do it from the beginning. Like Preem and I, we really like playing Minecraft Dungeons. I play Minecraft Dungeons on Xbox. He plays it on his Nintendo Switch, and you have to have a Microsoft account to play, So he signs into his Microsoft account, if I remember correctly, on the Switch, and I'm playing on Xbox because it got crossplay. So if it's done from the beginning, I don't think it would have been an issue, because I've been hearing there's a lot of stuff that does that, but they don't just spring it on you afterwards. Like, hey, you know what? I think you're gonna have to sign up for that. So it can be a little jarring, and it is a little annoying that these companies keep doing stuff that is so not consumer friendly. Like, we are the ones that are buying their stuff. The people who are hardcore, they buy all the stuff. The people who are casuals, who get into just one or two games, they buy the stuff. And when you try to alienate any of that, and you try to alienate any people, it's gonna cause some kind of problems. I mean, go back to when the Xbox One was just coming out, and they were like, "Oh, you got to be online all the time." They were like, "Wait a minute, no. What if I don't want to be online? What if I can't get online? What if I lose my internet? What if I live out in the countryside and there's no internet?" And then they're talking about like how you can't, share games with your friends or lend your games out or whatever. And that, I think that even though they reversed it, it hurt them even to this day, because the Xbox series of systems are not bad. PlayStation 5, Xbox Series get the same games. They look exactly the same. They play exactly the same. PlayStation has a few console exclusive, and when I say a few, I mean a few. Don't at me, because there's not enough to freaking sell that system like in the past. In the past,
No, he's not wrong.
PlayStation 4, 3, not so much the 3.
I agree.
Right? It's not enough to sell a system. They're the same fucking thing, but it's still hurting. It's still hurting them to this day. So for Sony to do something like that could potentially hurt them is kind of Microsoft, or kind of dumb. So I mean, I don't know. Me personally, maybe I foresaw it. I don't know. Like my cousin wanted me to Helldivers, and I was just like, I don't want to pay money for a limited fun game. And what I mean by limited fun is like almost any game I could grab over there, I pop it in and play, because the majority of them are not an online thing. And once you miss that community, it's gone. There might be a few stragglers. Like, I found out that my nephew was playing Left 4 Dead 2, and people are still playing the shit out of Left 4 Dead 2, but the community is not like when it first came out. So I tend to not play those games too much. But
yeah. GQ, what do you think of this?
I said it in Facebook. If you go to our Facebook group over at Culture Junkies, if you're not a member of the Facebook group, you should probably join.
Yeah, you should.
Awesome. I basically have been saying, and this goes to a lot of movie companies as well, they need to stop listening to everybody that spouts off on social media. With the video game companies, they need to stop trying to microtransaction people to death. I understand that, you want to make as much money as you can on any of the properties and stuff you put out, but it's like if you constantly making these silly changes. And all it really was with the PSN thing is probably trying to get more names for an email list that they can sell to some other third-party company or whatever, sell your information like every company does. But it's like, dude, you have one of the better games out there that a lot of people are playing. They're playing it on your platform. Don't drive them away from your platform by doing stupid stuff. So it would be nice, but a lot of companies are just doing the most when they don't need to. It's just like, sit back, collect the money, make the next thing, and make it better.
But when they hear them doing it, and I'm not necessarily saying that this is you saying that they should stop listening when people are making this much of a noise about something that they choose to do months after product launch. But speak more or less to that, to where, because this is a reaction to something that they did that affected their current player base. This isn't like them saying, "Oh, well, we're going to do this at launch," and crying about it. I get it. If they had done this at launch and people are crying about it, I was like, whatever. This is part of terms of service. Just get over it. But they're literally changing.
Well, their problem is they're doing the ready, fire, aim thing, where it's like they saw it was successful and they saw dollar signs of, hey, we make a whole bunch of people sign up for PSN. We could probably sell that list to whoever wants to buy, that list. And it's something that it's a knee-jerk reaction to, oh, let's make some more money on top of this. It's like, dude, you're going to make a lot of people upset.
Yeah.
There used to be a time when companies would know their role of make something great, we'll buy it, play it, and we'll wait for the next great thing. Now it's getting to that point where something great comes out and there's always some junior executive probably that wants to impress their higher up. And it's just like, hey, we can make probably another 6 million or so if we like make people sign up and sell that list or whatever. So it's just like, just go back to making great product. We'll buy it.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yeah. I mean,
and release it physically.
Release it. Release it physically, 100%. Like totally. That's it. Because then when you think about on the flip side, people doing damage to their brand, Xbox has been buying up all these studios, and just a couple of days ago, they announced that they had closed 4 studios. And
Marvel said, just post that in the chat.
Yeah, it's like so many people are upset because one of the like Hi-Fi Rush, the game that was literally just released, I think, right?
Not too long ago.
Yeah, Hi-Fi Rush literally just came out, and its studio has been shuttered by Microsoft. And it seems like the reason they gave at a recent town hall, because people were internally were upset by a lot of these studios being closed, and they openly admitted that even after they purchased these studios, they didn't have the financial structure to properly maintain them. So it was like they literally bought them to close them, which is a bad thing, bad thing to say for not just for Xbox, but just as an industry practice moving forward. It's like Xbox has gotten too big.
Dude, companies do that all the time though. They'll buy stuff to shelve them just so the competition don't get them. They do that all the time. And I'm pretty, like I said, you got these developers. Everything is becoming one big conglomerate, and they just want to make sure the other people can't get them because Bungie used to be with Microsoft, right? Had Microsoft, now Bungie's with Sony. Had Microsoft bought Bungie and closing down, Sony wouldn't have Microsoft or wouldn't have Bungie.
Sure.
So it's like I'm not gonna have you bouncing around. I can freaking take talent what I need to get the games that I need, and close down a company. I mean, is it good business? I don't know. I mean, they know more than I do because they're the ones that are billion millionaires, and I'm sitting in here building Legos. Yeah,
right.
So I just know I think it looks like it's a bad thing to us because they're saying, "Oh, we don't have the money to maintain the what you call it." Yes, they do. They have lots of friggin' money. They have lots of friggin' money. I don't think that's it.
So,
what was you saying, Simon?
Yeah, go.
Well, if you really think about it, it's kind of the same thing as what, like, if you're saying like they're gonna buy the company and close them out. It's kind of the same thing with wrestling. They get all these wrestlers. They don't want the talent to go to each different brand or different company. So it's kind of the same thing. But what I think about it is kind of like I feel sorry for Mega Sean because the bro. He gonna have to get his. I don't know if he has a PSN account or whatnot, but hell,
he does. He does.
Lucky him.
Well, it's just the PC ones. It's not people on PlayStation. It's on
here's the thing that I found out that is kind of like messed up because if I'm not mistaken, certain overseas can't get PSN accounts. If I'm not mistaken,
that was
they changed it.
Yeah, that was what made them ultimately change their stance. Yes.
Again, it's some junior executive trying to impress his higher up that floated this idea, and the higher up thought, hey, we can make money off of this. It's like, dude, think it through. If you're not, if PSN is not fully 100% global, you're going to lose some people. And it was just a bad move to begin with.
No. They thought about it and they didn't think it was a big deal. Almost.
Yeah, they didn't think people would get upset about it. They didn't.
Really?
Almost. Think? Yes, I do. Almost. Bro. Like, for example, listen. People say there's, on our end, we'll say, oh, that politician's that bad. That politician's over there making shady, bad deals. No, they're doing exactly what is for them.
Hold on.
On our end, they're saying it bad. No, when they're in that position, they're not doing any bad decisions. They're doing anything that's going to make them money, and they don't. They look at those stuff.
You hold on. You remember what they did with the Star Wars game, right? Those ridiculous trends. Battlefield. The one that came out on
Battlefield 2?
Yeah.
The
one with the massive transactions that people.
Oh, yeah. The loop. The one that.
Look, that one to make money.
And no, but had it not been Star Wars, those transactions would kept going.
It probably would have, but like gotcha pawn games or gotcha games.
But that's EA though.
They're a dime a dozen, is what I'm saying. They do that stuff to make money because, like, if I put it behind a paywall and you like the stuff, first off, we're from a different generation. You can't think about the generation where we bought a game, we got everything that's with it. Whatever was it, we opened it up. That's not these kids today. You hear about these kids stealing their parents' credit cards to buy D-Bucks, to buy all the stuff to get all the shit that doesn't even amass to the fucking game. So it's in their eyes, an executive, it's to make them more money. They don't give a shit about that stuff. They give a shit about making more money. They don't care how it's stupid we think it looks, because it's making them money. Like, for example, Lego could definitely say, oh, hey, you want this set right here? Oh, it's $26 for this set right here. Or I could charge you $5 for each one of these. Now, to them, you really want it, you're going to pay the fucking $5 for each brick.
That's it. Yep.
To us, we look at, oh, that's fucking stupid. I'm not doing that. But there are people out there that will. And that's what they're betting on. And that's what they're counting on. And that's what's happening. People are doing it. And that's why they keep doing it.
Yeah, people are doing it.
Exactly.
But the problem is they complain that they're doing it.
They don't care about complainers. They don't.
No, they don't. No. This is what I'm gonna get at is like they complain about, oh, this weapon is going to cost me like $100 or $5 for the skin, or $20 for a skin. It's like, you have a choice to not buy the skin. Why were you even complaining about it? If you're going to complain about the skin and purchasing it that you bought it, it's basically what a lot of like content creators and all this stuff say. Talk with your wallet. Basically,
most people don't do that.
Yeah, again, yeah, that's the truth.
And you have to remember, Simon, as well, because a lot of this stuff is targeted at young kids. This is literally what Fortnite and Epic Games built its empire on, is the amount of skins. Everyone's going to want every skin. Everyone's going to want every extra weapon, that type of thing. They took those little monetized things, those special things, make little tweaks on them, even if they're only cosmetic, and know that because you think it looks cool on the screen and you want to see it as like a status symbol that you have this skin and stuff like that, you can just go ahead and buy it. The same thing with 2K and VC. With being the best basketball player in the online park, you can basically just buy your VC and become the overpowered ball player in the park. You can just buy it. Madden. Yeah, or the same thing for Madden, right? It doesn't matter. The microtransactions has affected things, but kind of bringing it back on topic, Xbox doing this thing has somewhat started to really get people worried that there's going to be, from the Xbox side, a de-emphasis on less than AAA level games. Like, because Hi-Fi Rush was not a AAA level game. It was maybe a AA, maybe even an A level game. And these little smaller games are starting to be squeezed out and Microsoft is only going to be worried about AAA releases, which I think is bad.
I mean, I agree that it is bad, but that is where a lot of stuff is coming to, man. You know, a long time ago, Shenmue was the most expensive game ever. Now, almost every game that comes out that is considered AAA eclipses anything that they spent on that, and they expect to make their money back. Because what's the last AAA game that failed?
That failed?
Yeah,
failed. I can't remember.
Exactly.
I can't remember.
Think about,
okay, wait. One.
Oh no, yeah, no.
For
Cyberpunk.
No,
Cyberpunk didn't fail.
Cyberpunk didn't fail. It made a lot of money.
It had a slow start.
And it had a bad critical reception. It didn't fail because it made a lot of money. Yeah, Avengers failed. Avengers did fail.
Was a AAA game?
But
yeah,
that was considered a AAA game.
They put AAA money behind that.
They did put AAA money behind that.
The product they put out might have sucked, but it had a AAA budget for sure.
100%.
What about Fallout 76?
Fallout 76 definitely failed, but that isn't recent. He asked what was the most recent AAA game that failed, and I feel like it was that.
It was Suicide Squad in hell.
Actually, I think Suicide Squad might
have been Suicide Squad.
Might be it.
So it doesn't happen too often, is what I'm getting at, and that's why they keep banking on them.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. You have to do that because especially with the amount of money that they put into it, like you said, they want to make their money back, which every successful business does that. You got to make your money back on your investments. The other issue that we're running into, and it's a backhanded joke, but I think mobile gaming kind of ruined current video game industry because they thought and believed that people, because so many people on phones were doing it, buying these little things here and there,
microtransactions
here, $1 there or whatever, because it's on their phone. They're not thinking about it. They figured, oh, regular consumers on video game consoles want to do the exact same thing, and it's like, no, not all of them do.
I definitely don't.
100%. And actually, last one before we move off this topic, Fallen Marvel brought up a very serious question. He says, I have a serious question. Hypothetically, what would another video game crash look like in the 21st century?
For me,
define crash.
Define crash.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Because when the video game industry crashed in the early 80s,
it was the arcades.
Only really right? Yeah, it was the arcades, and you had an Atari.
No,
that was
it. Was the home system is really what killed it, though.
Yeah,
when they crashed it, because the arcades, I don't think crashed at all. It was just that whole thing that Atari first off didn't want to pay their friggin'.
Oh no. If you look at the Chuck E. Cheese documentaries that they've had, and I watched them like last year, a couple of years ago, they 100% said that there was a crash in like the early 80s because it seemed like there was everybody was popping up in arcade.
It wasn't Look, I'm going to tell you the story real quick.
Go ahead.
It's that Atari, they were the ones that were putting all this stuff out at first, right? They had all their programmers, and programmers wanted more money, and they weren't going to pay them. So people broke off. That's where Activision came through. Activision started to come out and started, self-publishing stuff. Other people started self-publishing stuff, but they started just throwing stuff out there. Junk. There was no quality, and people were just getting tired of being burned on bad video games. And that was like the crash that was going on. And that's why when Nintendo came around and they said Nintendo saved video games in the United States, is because they put that seal of quality. They had certain specifications you had to do in order to put these games out there. And that supposedly saved everything. So,
and they limited shovelware because publishers could not produce more than a set number of games per year. So that was part of the whole quality agreement. Arcades, now Chuck E. Cheese and all that failing was because Atari's Nolan Bushnell was an idiot in a lot of ways. And he spread himself very thin trying to do Atari and Chuck E. Cheese and all this other various stuff. But like Dido said, arcades never failed until we got to the point where home consoles kind of pushed them out to the, to where we're at now, where most home stuff is better than arcades ever could even hope to have been. But he's 100% right about that. The video game crash was because of shovelware and a bunch of just Wild West, basically.
Fallen had a follow-up, or I think he's expounding on it a little bit. He says, like a mass pirating movement as one factor, or a virtual currency starts being regulated. Now, virtual currency being regulated is very interesting. I just find it would be hard for them to make a real basis on how do you regulate virtual currency. Like, okay, 2K literally created their own currency called VC that you can use across all of their games, whether it be 2K golf, whether it be 2K basketball, 2K tennis, I think as well, Topspin, because Topspin just came out, and I think you got VC for that. It's
how
hard
do
for
you
me to
get it?
You have to pay money. You have to literally pay money.
So basically, it's the exact same thing as what Street Fighter has done, what Mortal Kombat has done.
Yes,
it's coins, it's
Yes.
fight money. It's so it's not that's not a real virtual currency in the sense of you invest and you can get returns on your investment. You're just basically trading dollars to
for
whatever
their
this
currency.
particular thing is.
Yes.
So
yes.
Yeah, until a game comes up with true Bitcoin in the game that you can, and we're never going to get there because regulations, at least in the United States, will not let children around anything like that. Still considered a kid's, realm or industry or whatever.
Now, bringing up what he's saying, like a mass pirating movement, I don't really see that as a viable option for people out there really to do. And the reason I say that is because piracy actually is very prolific right now anyway. And it doesn't even put a dent into any of the sales. Like not even half of a dent. And because most of these games, because they're not single player, they're constantly online. They have so many of the cheat sniffers, or whatever you want to call them, the basically sniff for whether you have a legitimate
AI made pirating very difficult. Because
the anti-cheat. Thank you, Waffles. Thank you. The anti-cheat. Yes. What was it you were saying?
I was saying bots, but yeah, Waffles said anti-cheat. That's what he's talking about.
Yeah. But realistically, there's so many different ways for them to be like, okay, this isn't an official copy. Goodbye. Like they do it quite often.
Yeah, they do it. Yeah, they
piracy as a thing that's been a problem has been something that the companies created. The companies made all those campaigns about, oh, you wouldn't steal a car, you wouldn't rob a bank, so why are you gonna pirate this movie? It's like, dude, no, that's the companies trying to put it out there that you're stealing all of this and you're stealing all of that. It's like there's not enough people doing it to really hurt you guys.
To really hurt you, right? Exactly. Exactly. They're crying over any one lost single ticket, and basically projecting, thinking that it's going to be a massive epidemic, like everybody's going to start doing.
And at the same time, I don't blame them either, because if it was my movie, if it was my game that I put my blood, sweat, and tears in, you're damn right I want every penny.
Yeah, and you're right. They 100% have a right to definitely feel that way, because it is 100% true. But not enough people are willing to go do what it takes in order for them to be able to do that, right? Because I don't even hear people about I don't even hear about them selling the broken Fire Sticks that they used to sell, where people would be able to stream free shit online and stuff like that. Like, the amount of people that actually do those, that engage in that type of behavior, are so infinitesimally small that they're not even worth. They're barely worth even the attention that it would take to give, right? Right. So, like, Waffles has a comment. Then we need to break out. So he says, when Ubisoft took the original crew offline, people were pissed from a preservation point of view, which I understand. The disc and your digital purpose was completely null and void because it was always online. And that's kind of where the industry seems to be moving, to where they're trying to push everything digital. Everything's going to be online, so that at any given point, any money that you give or that you send to them, you won't have anything tangible as proof of purchase. Like, whereas before you would have a physical disc, you always pop in the disc, I could play the game. Now you buy the disc, you pop in the disc, and it's got a day one patch that essentially completes the game, and you can't play the rest of it without it.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't know if they want to go full digital with the next set of systems or whatever. They better put a 40 terabyte hard drive in from the jump.
You talk about hard drive, you can be playing it on the cloud. You're not even
gonna. They need to get the United States internet infrastructure better in order to do that.
Much better.
They do need to get it better, and they don't care.
Of course, they don't care. But
you're right.
Like I said, if they want gaming to go truly cloud based or digital only, there's a lot of other stuff they got to do first.
It can't be no latency, can't be no lag, nothing.
Man, they tried that shit with Madden, and everybody lost all their shit.
I mean,
what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
So last year, they went cloud based. They put all their content on the cloud. So what happened was everybody had created their their franchise mode online.
Mm-hmm.
Servers crashed. They lost. Everyone lost all of their shit. They had to start.
Oh, baby!
And here's the problem. Madden had to cover it. They had to give them the game for free.
Hey,
some of the people had to they literally had to gave them the game for free because of that shit.
No, man. Yeah. See,
I mean, it's and again, and let's we all watched it come out and die. Stadia, you're not ready.
yeah, that's true.
As much as they keep trying with you talking look at GeForce Now, you look at GeForce is also on. GeForce is also have Amazon. Well, no, not Amazon Gaming because Amazon, not Amazon Gaming, but GeForce Now is cloud based where you can literally just play on your Samsung TV, or I could even play on my LG TV that's over there on the wall if I actually pay. But I have to wait in order to get in a queue and wait in order for me to be able to play this game. And I'm just like, I'm not doing that. I'd rather just buy the game and just so I can play it now. I don't want to have to do all this waiting. So this cloud-based gaming stuff really got to, like GQ saying, really needs a lot of infrastructure work before it actually even becomes close to being viable. That's all I got to say about that. All right, y'all. So last thing I wanted to bring up is a couple of days ago, y'all know that I love Superman. He's my favorite. He's my favorite superhero. And next year, Superman movie is getting ready to come out, and James Gunn revealed Superman's costume. Now, the costume, as you can see right here, click off the tag. Superman is sitting down. It's battle damaged a little bit, and obviously something's going on back behind him. But he's got this picturesque window over in Metropolis. Clark must be making some pretty good bread as a reporter for the Daily Planet, because I don't know, a big picture window like that a lot of reporters would be having. But something's going on in the background out there, and have no idea. Got a loan from Bruce. That's hilarious. Now, I feelings about the costume itself have been somewhat mixed. For those of you that have seen the costume, it has a lot of lines. It's very much, and it's got the collar. It's very much akin to the New 52 outfit that he had, where a lot of people really hated because they were like, it's got this armor look. And you're like, why does Superman need armor? He's Superman. Why do you need to have Kryptonian armor flying around and fighting crime? You don't. You're Superman. This looks stupid. So a lot of people really hate that, and some people really hate this aesthetic. But I have to tell you, although I don't like the costume altogether, I 100% love the memes that have come out of this thing. And I'm gonna share a few of them with you. That some of the best ones that I've seen. So obviously, people have been taking that picture window from Metropolis and basically putting their own spin on it. So as you can see here, you've got a picture of Aincrad from Sword Art Online in the background, and Superman's putting on his boot there. This other one is actually pretty good. They're saying that basically Godzilla's in Metropolis and he's firing off an atomic breath at this thing that's coming out. Some of this stuff is just really, really inventive. But this one was like an animated GIF that I'm going to play, where it's basically running a whole bunch of really good ones that people have had online. I have to tell you, the one with Superman in the Payless shoe store is priceless. That one is just incredible. It's funny. And I didn't even see the Lego Superman one until today. But some of these ones are just freaking hilarious, man.
Here's the problem I have with it, and again, we don't know.
Have with what?
It's one picture, so we don't know what the context is. But he has this expression like, damn it, this is another job for Superman. He legitimately looks like he does not want to be bothered.
Yeah, and that's fair.
And he's supposed to be
that's
Superman.
fair. Yeah, and that's fair. You're 100% right.
We will see, but that's the vibe I get from that photo. It's just like, God, another fucking job? Gotta go out there again? Like he legitimately has that look like I do not want to be out here.
It'd been funny though if they had
that's funny.
They had Goku and Vegeta out there having a beam clash and he's sitting there just chilling. It's like, man, God.
Yeah, no, that's funny.
It's like I don't want you to F for these dudes now.
Yeah, that's funny. No, that's funny. But another one I saw, other people have actually been putting their own spin on the costumes where they brightened up the costume and cleaned it up. Some of them have removed the collar. Like this one to me evokes exactly what a lot of people kind of wanted to see. It's clean, it doesn't have a lot of lines, has no collar and stuff like that. I think honestly, me personally, I thought the Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman costumes look better than this one. Because it's clean and it's simple. When you think of Superman as just clean and simple, it's not overly designed. Cool. Like this one here is someone modified to look more like his actual classic uniform that most people are used to seeing. And some people are like, well, this isn't the Reeves Superman. You're not supposed to do that. And I'm just like, well, Superman's
changed his expression too.
You're right. They did put a little bit more of a smile on his face with this one. You're right.
Again, we all went through this same thing when they showed the very first images of the Flash costume from the TV show. And in the TV show, it ended up looking better than that really bad burgundy looking thing. So who knows? This might just be a really bad picture to lead off with. The movie itself is going to be the movie. We're all going to go see it. So,
yes, we are. 100%.
Again, the memes are fun. I'm starting to really dislike this need for all of these companies to feel that they owe people stuff just because social media exists.
No, hold on. Time out. Something that just popped in my head, and I get you, what you're saying. Magazines don't exist anymore. Back in the day, this would be put into a magazine where we would either be at a newsstand reading or we would buy or something like that. So I think it's kind of like...
That's true. That's true. That's true.
Because we don't get that anymore.
Well, we still get like I think Entertainment Weekly, which now is just online only. Entertainment Online still does like exclusive picture spreads where they get behind the scenes pictures and movies of first releases. So we still kind of get those exclusive ones. And I think Empire still exists as a magazine, I think. So, and I think Empire also does releases like this too. But I also wanted to bring up something else that I thought was kind of crazy and just kind of shows how the internet is really kind of weird. People were complaining about the outfit in the post, and this one that I found online from Nina Infinity says, I figured out why the Superman image seems off, and it's because it's an effeminate pose. It's not a good pose for a man that's supposed to be the strongest man in the universe. I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. He's putting on his boots sitting down in a chair. What?
This motherfucker thinks that men put on their shoes by just kicking through them. You just kick right through them and you walk through the door. Like the fuck, people sit down and they put their fucking boots on.
They do. Like what? That's like I just found it was crazy.
They're missing. The person, it might be a troll account or whatever, but the person is missing the point of this picture shows that Superman is relatable. Just like everybody else, he puts his damn boots on one boot at a time.
Right.
Now, again, going back to that, he looks like he just doesn't want to be bothered right now. That's a whole separate issue. But to say that it's a feminine thing, it's like, okay, now you digging too damn far.
He was mad. He was mad because
man, like what is that?
No, he was mad because he had Lois in the bed, and he was like, "Man,
I hear you, man. I hear you, man.
Nope.
That's pretty funny.
So we'll see. I mean, again, the movie will come out. We'll all be there. It'll be fun, whatever. But I think these companies really need to just like, look, we're gonna bring the movie out. Here's your teaser trailer. Here's your movie. And then that's all we're gonna say about it. And we're gonna move on to the next project.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to be sitting here answering back and forth with all these people complaining. Man, fuck them people. Let them complain to a empty echo chamber with themselves. As a company, you don't owe them anything but good product.
Dado, I think should put a clock. We should put a clock on you and see how fast it's going to take for you to building, because you're literally putting together a nice Lego collection. We've been sitting here for about an hour and a half. I don't know if you started as soon as the show started, or if you started before the show started, but you've already completed. Did you do both of those today?
No.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, wait a minute. It's just this one. Okay.
So the only Mustang I'll ever own.
Okay. Wow. Don't say that. You might actually own a Mustang.
This is a dark horse. This is the new tippity top. Well, not the tippity top. The tippity top.
Yeah, it's like tippity top. Like, yeah, I was about to say the tippity top is like ridiculous, like $500,000
underneath that.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. All right. So maybe you won't own that one specifically. Maybe you might find one that's like, I don't know, 20 years old. But you might own a Mustang one day. I don't know. You see. Anyway. I was gonna say, so guys, we got a lot of stuff to look forward to this weekend. Obviously, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes comes out this weekend. Mother's Day comes out is this weekend. So obviously we'll be honoring our mothers and stuff like that. But hopefully we'll talk about X-Men next week, the finale. Maybe some people might go see Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes and want to see what this new round of Apes movies is going to be like.
What was that tagline from the trailer? It's a good day or something. They keep saying
it's
over and over again.
What a wonderful day! Or something like that. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. No. Yeah. And so I am very much looking forward to see this one. Obviously, starring
some people.
I forget her name from but from The Witcher. She's playing Ciri from The Witcher. I forget her name, but she's this is actually her. It's either her first or her second American feature film that she's in. I think she's a pretty good actress. I think she's got a pretty good future ahead of her coming up. So looking forward to seeing that and other things. Obviously looking forward to, like I said, X-Men 97 next week. But yeah, want to thank everybody for joining the show this week. It's been a great time talking to you all for the past 90 minutes. A little bit of an extra long show. We would love to hear from you all over on a Facebook group, facebook.com/culturejunkiesnet. You can find the Facebook group where we can chop it up about other stuff. And you could also talk about stuff you want us to talk about here on the show. Yep. So for my friends, the Great Adakuji and GQ, and Simon Says, I'm Kashiro. We'll see you guys next week. Hope you have a really good one. And happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
All right. Peace.
Bye, everybody. Have a great week. Hope you come back and see us next week. Watch that X-Men and like the show. 2 thumbs up.